record. All right, we're on camera, everybody. Welcome to the lighting and emergency equipment lecture. It'll be a quick one again because it's not super long or complicated. Can you all hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep.
There we are. So aircraft lighting doesn't have a homework, so don't worry about that. Just make sure you submit your emergency equipment homework on time, which means anytime between, morning and now. Let's get that done. I'm probably not going to grade them until later tonight, or tomorrow. I won't notice. Canvas might notice though. I have it set for today at 3 p.m.
What's the next thing?
So,
What's the next thing?
lighting, if you guys are, mute yourself if you've got background noise. I hear you, Rita, and I hear someone else.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out today's date.
The 22nd.
Thanks.
All right, so we got aircraft visibility lighting, external, then you've got some light deck lighting panels inside, passenger service, emergency controls and indications. There's a couple of numbers to memorize. You guys are going to have a diagram of all the circuit breaker panels during your final, and I'm going to make you label each and every one. I'm waiting for the, oh, come on.
Funny joke.
I think I would do that
Oh,
too.
I was muted. I said what, but I was muted.
That's a funny joke, but really when you do go fly these things, there's going to be a couple of circuit breakers that are absolutely necessary that you should know where they're at. I would in general know what panel things are on, just in case you have to troubleshoot things. The worst thing in the world is having an electrical fire or something smoking and you have no clue where the circuit breaker is for it and no clue how to shut it down. That could get dangerous. So I would have a foggy idea of where the most important things are, trim being one of them. In the C-130, it was transformer rectifiers because they like to blow up, but in the CRJ, it's probably as simple as trim and a couple other items.
Transformer rectifiers are so cool, though.
Cool, until they
Blow up.
So you've got interior and exterior illumination, obviously. You've got all of these sort of lighting, and I'm sure you went through your CVTs in great depth and learned about them all. As in any other passenger carrying airline, you've got nav lights, anti-collision strobe lights, rotating beacons, and an optional logo light, which lights up the tail and shows that you're flying for either. If you're at Mesa Airlines, it'll say United or it'll say American.
Well, are you on a slide other than slide 3?
I am on slide 7. Is that?
I can only see. I'm on slide 3.
Same.
Same?
We're talking about stuff we can't see.
I'm on
I was wondering
Yeah.
about that too.
What about now?
No.
No.
Still slide 3.
Oh boy. Let me see something.
Try
Screen
turning off-
screen share's frozen.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Did it work? Okay.
Yeah, can you go back to whatever you're talking about real quick just to show us visually what you're saying?
I went through the overview and then I clicked on this and then it's talking about how you've got nav lights, anti-collision, and an optional logo, rotating beacon. Do I really need to illustrate where a nav light is to any of you? Probably not, right? Okay. I'll take the silence as a yes. So, but anyway, you've got a nice little, let me get rid of this bar here. You've got a nice little overview. I'm trying to switch my, there it is. Okay, so you can see it nice and big here. The nav lights on the right are green, left are red, as in any other airplanes. The only weird thing is if you look at this panel, you've got the recognition taxi lights. Notice where they are here. They're right next to the wing landing lights. So, and then so if you go left on, nose on, right on, you've got all of these lights, and then you got to also turn on the taxi recognition lights when you're taxiing, kind of like fog lights in a car. And when I ask you how many landing lights you have in a quiz, you're going to say 3 because there's actually 2, 1 on each side, and a nose landing light as well. Okay. Oops. I'm going to take my face and make it smaller here. I like to be able to make gestures for those who aren't here. Left turns on the landing light. No kidding. Nose turns on the landing light. Right. turns on a landing light. And then this also turns on taxi / recognition. Beautiful. Okay. So to illuminate the outside, you've got all these things: wing landing, wing inspection. Who would use a wing inspection light? Is that for your wing walker when you're flying? You know, the girl who gets out on the wing? No? Anyone? What
It's
are
for
those?
ice.
For ice, someone said it, yes. So if you have ice, you can take a look on the wing. If you think you've hit a bird or something like that, sometimes it's visible. I can't imagine it would be very useful in a CRJ, but in a C-130, it's pretty good because the wings, they extend straight out from the fuselage and you can see them very, very well. Okay.
Wait, so who would check that? Like your flight attendant?
Me, when I was flying, or you guys?
No, for us. Like if we were the pilot in command and we had an issue, we would tell our flight attendant to go check the wing inspection light, to go
Right.
look out the window.
Right. I honestly don't know how the crew coordination would go for that. You might be able to see back far enough. I've sat in the cockpit and I don't think so, but I think you can see the very end. So I suppose you might be able to see them. If there's a little bit of icing on the tip, obviously it's all the way across. So good question though. I'm sure you don't rope the flight attendants into checking your wings. When's the last time you saw a flight attendant lean over a passenger and open the window and look out? I don't think so.
They've closed our windows.
Exactly. So, let's see. What else? Toggle switches on the landing lights, except wing inspection light toggle switches on the external lights panel. There's a couple of questions on where things are and what panel. So for example, wing inspection, that's a good one. It's on the external lights. So is logo, strobe, beacon, and nav. Okay. Hey. Wow, this slide is, this is definitely deep slide. Real important stuff here. Strobe turns on.
It's not moving.
We can't see it.
Oh, it's not. Dang it. We're gonna have problems with my video.
Oh, there we go.
You know, so basically if I'm in slideshow view, it freezes, so I won't do that. That's really it for lighting. There's not a whole lot more other than when you get to wherever you're training, you're gonna do a walk around, you're gonna look at all the lights, make sure there's no bug splatter.
What is that airplane? Wait, what is the paint scheme on that one?
Oh, that's an old America West paint.
Okay. I was like, who owns that?
Way old. That actually, Mesa Airlines used to fly for America. Well, look at the Southwest jet in the background.
The brown one.
Yeah, like old school.
It's OG.
So actually, I was going to say, I have actually called maintenance a couple times because, say, the sortie before me, they were flying low level down a riverbed or something. I've called maintenance to, A, clean my windscreen again, and B, clean off my lights, my taxi lights. If I was going to be the second turn of the day and somebody had done daytime low level, maintenance wasn't very good about cleaning off lights. So you check that there's no bugs. I can't imagine a CRJ flying low enough to get a whole bunch of bugs, but you never know. There's some places. Okay. So those are all pictures of it. Service lights powered by the battery bus. So remember that one. That's an important one. Okay. There's the flight deck lighting. This to me is not worth you guys truly memorizing everything because you're going to sit down and in about one sortie, especially a nighttime sortie, you're going to learn where all this stuff is. I would just say be really, really careful with the dome light. You see where my mouse is right here? Are you guys seeing my slide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The dome light can kill you, at least in a Talon 2, and I'm pretty sure, say you're flying a really dark night approach and somebody does not pay attention to this dim bright switch, flips on the dome lights. I've heard of stranger things than pilots having to go around because now they can no longer see anything. Dome lights can be very, very blinding. The rest of this stuff on rheostats, usually pretty dim. You don't have to worry about anything blinding you except that one very, very powerful switch right there. I come from a background where lighting was the evil enemy. We had night vision goggles and we had to have 30 minutes of just absolutely no light in order to see properly. So someone flipped on a dome light, it could be a really bad day. So anyway, flight deck lighting, you got miscellaneous lights panel, center pedestal, pilot and co-pilot. Okay, there again, the dome lighting. The overhead, this whole thing controls intensity of lighting overhead. I don't like the dome light. I wouldn't do it. You have a couple lights down at your, trying to find where they are. You have a couple lights down at your feet. The floor lights, oh man, those are so important. Know where those are before you go fly at night, because you're gonna drop something like a chart or a pencil or something you need. And if you don't know where the floor lighting switch is, it could be very awkward trying to figure out where you dropped something. Okay, map lights really no longer a factor. These days, we're all using iPads, so you're actually probably not going to use the chart holder or the lighting.
You know, unless we're over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and all of a sudden we lose all of our systems and we have to whip out our Jefferson charts.
Yeah, handy
Alex.
charts. I would say all of you will, I don't know if airlines issue these things, but on your headset, I wish I had my headset. Has anyone been in my office?
Jefferson charts.
My headset, I've got a lip light on it. Have you guys seen these things? Do you have them at Riddle?
Nope.
Oh gosh, they're awesome.
Will you get your headset and show us?
I'm at
Next
home.
class.
I'm not going to work. Are you kidding me?
Oh, it's in your office?
In my office.
You don't have like a second one just hiding in your home?
No, but on my David Clark's, you know, I don't know if you guys wear David Clark's, they're really good headsets, but there's on the boom, there's like a aftermarket jury rig zip tied lip light. Those things
cool.
are money, because if you want to look at something, just hit your boom against your face, just lightly, and then you look around. The only issue with the lip lights with new co-pilots, hint, hint, if you're looking at the other pilot with your lip light on, you're blinding the other pilot. It's rude. So there's like lip light courtesy. So anyway, long story short, buy yourself a lip light. They're cheap. You can safety wire it on, and then there's a little tiny battery pack that you have to stick with like a double-sided stick onto your headset, and you'll be like the smartest person ever when you're flying at night. Okay, you airline pilots. I don't know about y'all. No lip lights. I also had finger lights, so anything.
Not airline. To be fair, we are not airline pilots. We are all like student pilots.
But I consider you already having succeeded in advance. I just know you all are going to be just fine. So
Yeah, there's still an industry left for us to join.
right, I know. I hope it'll rebound. It'll rebound. So anyway,
They're still like $60.
what is?
$60 for the lip light.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, the Air Force bought me mine, so I guess I didn't know that it was that expensive.
The Air Force buys your everything.
Yeah, true. I actually still have rain jackets and boots and all kinds of stuff.
Ooh, it comes in green too.
We digress. You should totally send that link out, an announcement, because I swear by the lip light, especially if you're going to be one of those co-pilots that volunteers for the 3 a.m. takeoffs, and you're constantly, I can't tell you how easy that thing makes your life at night.
I haven't flown in the sun in like a year. I think I'm gonna get one. These are pretty cool.
Yeah, I had the 6 p.m. to midnight instrument flight block, and my
that's what
flights
I
were
have right
always
now.
like 9 p.m. I have like 3-day flights, and I'm done with my instrument.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, get yourself a lip light. Okay. So the passenger cabin contains numerous lights. Yes, it does. Floodlights, reading lights, lighted passenger signs, and of course the emergency lights. You've got all these things that the flight attendants can control. They can do ceiling, sidewall. I didn't know that they had control over all these, but now that I went through Mesa, I did. Has anyone been on a Dreamliner lately, or a really brand new A330?
I have.
Alex?
Did
I
you
was
know-
on a Dreamliner the other day, like on my way back from Orlando to Phoenix. It was a Dreamliner.
Did they have the flag? Was it American or what airline?
It was maybe it was the way to. I flew American on the way there from Phoenix direct to Orlando with American Airlines.
We got on a brand new plane, and they had an American flag. It was like flashing red, white, and blue. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, on the like side, like where you're under your baggage, right?
Yeah, well, some of them were ceiling, sidewall. It was like flashing up and to the side and down. I thought that was really cool.
On
So
a Condor flight, I had to from Phoenix direct to Frankfurt. They had like it was like it looked like the gay pride flag. It was like all the colors of the gay pride flag on the lights. It was cool.
that's cool. Well, moving on. So I think what we're doing with this cigarette, since everybody knows that the cigarette's going away, is that there's going to be an electronic device in place of the cigarette in the future. So if you go on a Dreamliner or something really, really new, try to take note of what is up here, because I'm pretty sure they're going to take that off or have taken it off.
I noticed like some new ones they just printed on. It's not light up anymore.
Interesting. Yeah, so obviously it doesn't go off and on. It's like, oh, well, we've reached 10,000 feet. It's okay to smoke now. Anyway, I know this is crazy, but in my lifetime, people would smoke on airplanes. When I was a kid, we had disgusting trays inside the handrest. There were these cigarette tray things, and they were full of gross. Ugh. Anyway,
The only thing that we have, I feel like, in our lifetime was I remember being young and being in airports that had designated smoking boxes, like, and they were just like filled with cigarette smoke. Like
disgusting.
in the airport, you could like see people smoking.
Yeah.
I still remember the dash trays on the armrests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Those
I
are pretty
think
much
I
gone
had
now.
those too, but they were empty.
Yeah, I could see residue, and mostly they were person's discarded gum. But anyway, here's your passenger and service compartment panel with the emergencies on, off, and arm. You will normally fly with the emergency lights, obviously, in the arm position. And then the passenger, no smoking, seatbelts in auto. If they are in auto, when do they come on and off? Does anyone know? Hey, it's on the slide. Whoops. Read me the slide.
Landing gear is extended, or cabin altitude is above 10,000 feet, or flaps out of 0.
There you go. Good job. Okay. This really is,
So it's 3 conditions.
was that?
It's 3 conditions in which they become auto.
Yeah, anytime the landing gear is extended, so you're getting ready to land or you've just taken off, cabin altitude is above 10 grand, which it should never be. Cabin altitude should never be above 8,000, or the flaps out of 0. So basically, you have to go on with them, for the seat belts. The no smoking is auto when landing gear is extended or cabin altitude is above 10,000 feet. So I think what they meant to say, instead of cabin altitude on this slide, is aircraft altitude.
Yeah, because it dings.
Yeah, it does. It comes on at 10,000 feet. I think that's a Mesa slide problem there. I want to ask you about that, but still. Boarding lights, reading lights. This is old pictures of these things, but they're still old school switch lights on the 600 and 700. The 900s, they're phasing into a digital, but I haven't seen any of the new ones yet. So emergency lighting, kind of important to understand when this comes on. It turns on your exit signs, the emergency floodlights on the ceiling. It basically lights the place up like a Christmas tree and then turns on the exterior emergency lights too. Okay, those are emergency lights. Rechargeable battery powered lights. They are powered by 5 in the CRJ 704 rechargeable battery packs. And you only get 10 minutes to get off before they die. That's what they say. Okay.
Are those like the floor lights for the passengers?
The rechargeable battery powered emergency lights. Yeah.
Like the floor lights on for like, if like, I don't know, I just think of the movie Sully where like the floor lights illuminate and like you can see it through the water when it's like the plane's filling up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's more to it than just the floodlights you're saying, but the lights,
Aren't they also usually like glow in the dark strips instead of lights so that they don't require power to lead you to the exit?
that's a different one. Yeah. Those are the ones that come on with the battery power. So in the arm position, emergency lights come on when electrical power is removed. And that's why they have to be battery powered. Like I said, 10 minutes of battery power for these. And yeah, they're not, I wouldn't say they're super bright, but they do help you get off. It's Sully. wow, that guy was amazing. So, and anyway, exterior and internal emergency lights point into the direction of the evacuation. The closest exit may be behind you.
They should really make a movie about the Southwest pilot who landed,
I know, that would have been, yeah,
because like she killed it too.
no. Maybe
Which
some-
Southwest pilot? The one where the window blew out recently?
Yeah, the one where the window blew out and the passenger only died. Like, according to Professor Waldock, she was dead before they got her back in the like plane, because she probably broke her neck as she was like thrown out of the, like as she came out of the window, her like back came out first, so the actual window probably broke her neck first.
Ugh, that's awful. Yeah, I think though, to make a movie about someone like that, you have to have their permission, and I get the impression she's kind of a private person, but we'll see. Maybe someday. Okay, so there's your America West. It actually says America West or something Express on that one. Pictures, we're just looking at pictures of the emergency lights where it would be illuminated on the wing, I suppose. And then this is just a redundant picture of the emergency light panel and the flight attendants panel.
That's so the emergency light on the right is what we control, and the left is the flight attendants.
Yes, this is your, whatchamacallit, your panel.
Okay.
On turns on all emergency lights immediately. Off prevents them from coming on, and then arm emergency lights come on if AC and DC power is lost. So you can either fly them, you're usually going to fly them armed. The one question I remember straight out of the quiz bank out of my head here is, because the flight attendant has an emergency light or button, so she or he can turn on the emergency lights. Can they turn them off when you have the lights selected on up front?
Nope.
No, so the flight attendant cannot override the pilots. If you have the emergency light switch and on, they can't turn it off. Okay.
So if I turn it on, they can't turn it off, but if they turn on their own, they can then turn it off.
So I guess the key point here is that when they turn them on, say you have them off, they override you to turn them on, but they can't override you to turn them off.
Only the pilot can turn them off.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. If you have your switch in the on position, they can't turn them off. Okay, hopefully that was clear enough. So emergency lights off. If the emergency lighting system has been selected off, it's actually a caution. So that is not a normal switch position. And then here's your circuit breaker panel summary. Nothing you have to remember or worry about at this point in your life. And then there is an emergency, or excuse me, an MEL on cockpit flight compartment instrument lighting systems. I guarantee if we look at the MEL, we'll find that you can't fly in instrument conditions or at night. Passenger evac, this is an interesting QRH checklist to take a look at. Advise tower if you can, parking brake on. Ground lift dumping switch has to be manually disarmed. Thrust levers shut off, depress. Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. You have to say it. Emergency lights on, so the switch should be on. Even sometimes in emergency evacuation, you won't have lost all power, so you will have to select the switch on. And then the APU, engine fire push switch, select them all. This is all part of shutting down in emergency evacuation. And then the battery master switch off.
So is there like a separate checklist of what the flight attendants would follow, similar to this?
Oh, I'm sure there is. There's always a back-end checklist, but up front, and the last one is very interesting. If the battery master is left on, sometimes it can erase your CVR. So
Oh,
I know, interesting. File that one away if you don't want your CVR. Just kidding. Oh, by the way, I have experienced. Were any of you at the last faculty, interview that we did for a new faculty member? You guys,
Nope.
faculty member.
so when we interview a new faculty member, we typically invite students to come.
Yeah, but which one? For the College of Aviation or the one who was the Title IX coordinator?
College of Aviation. The last.
Okay.
There was a guy who we couldn't hire just because he erased his CVR or just disabled it in order to do a low-level maneuver at an air show that he wasn't approved to do. So don't mess with the CVR.
Wait, what's a CVR?
Cockpit voice recorder.
Order.
Oh.
This is not for some reason it's not overlaying right now, but let me play this slideshow. So can you guys see my slide? Emergency equipment.
We can see your face.
I see you only.
Oh,
Yeah, you're not sharing your screen.
we're having a glitch today. It's weird. Cannot minimize Zoom when you're recording this meeting. Okay. I'm gonna stop recording actually and do recording for the second.